Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Going to start this off by telling you that my co-host is hopefully on her way. So we're going to switch around the presentation, and I'm going to talk to you first. My name is Sarah Bush, and I work in Core Services Engineering, and that is formerly known as Microsoft IT. So you're here, hopefully, to learn about how we created a champions program that turned into a huge success for us. Has anybody instantiated a champions program in their own org yet? Great. I want to talk to you afterwards and hear what's going on with you guys too. So the story begins with our plan. The plan was this. We needed to move some 200,000 users off of Skype for Business and fully onto Teams. And you can imagine that that takes quite a bit of planning. So we had a full change management approach, and it was really built on these 4 pillars. What I want you to note for this session is that the champions were a part of every piece of the plan. 1, awareness. The champions themselves, just having a champions program creates awareness. Plus, they create awareness in their own orgs and with the people they're working with. Secondly, engagement. We have something internally that we call white glove onboarding. We have an intake process where orgs come to us, teams come to us, and they say, can you please come meet with us, talk to us about what this thing is and how we move our business processes? And we say, sure. And we look and see if there are champions in that business, because the champions know that business well. That's where they work. And we marry those guys up. Measurement. This cannot be understated. The measurement of everything we were doing as part of this change management was so key to when we needed to pivot, to what we needed to do next. And one of the core pieces of this were the listening systems we put in place, which the champions were a really huge part of. And then finally, management. Anybody who's done change management knows if you can get the leaders on board, then you're going to get the others on board. And what we did as part of our change management was actually migrate by EVP and by org, and we worked with them with points of contact to create inside their orgs, information, the timing, the training, all of that great stuff. And we said, and by the way, here are the champions in your org that can help you make this real. So before I go deeper into the champions, I want to talk about why, it kind of came about. Early on, we put out the Art of Teamwork Tour, which was a series of trainings. We did them in person, and then we did a bunch of webinars, and we measured it. And what you're looking at on the far left are the people who did not attend training. The people in the middle are those who did, and the people on the far right didn't attend training, but they worked with somebody who did. So we found out that this was hugely impactful. For every 1 person we trained, on average, 6 additional people had an increase in their team's usage. So we knew this is working, we need to get this out fast and broad. Enter the champions. Mid-February of 18, we started the champions program as a small pilot, and you can see that as the champions grew, the adoption active usage we were measuring grew exponentially. We started our transition, our migration in October, fully underway by November, and in locations where there were champions, 156 buildings, there was 99% utilization of Microsoft Teams. This is the power of champions. So I started with the exciting stuff, and now I'll tell you how we built the program. First, there's some fundamentals. So looking back, I don't know if it was luck, if it was smarts, a little bit of both. We were able to really hit on the right formula. And that starts with recruiting well. What we did was not just go out and find early adopters, the people who knew how to use Teams and the different features. We went and looked at our Yammer group. And there is a Teams Yammer group, and there were people on there that were reaching out for help and asking questions and needing to know about things. And there was a core group of people that were answering those questions, out of the goodness of their hearts and their interest in the product and our company. So the very first pilot, we reached out to 20 of those people and said, hey, are you interested in something like this? And every one of them said yes. And you could see how fast it grew from there. The number 1 enabler now are champions. They're the ones who are actually bringing in our other champions. We have an average of 1,500 champions now globally. Another thing is to scale fast. Again, in my slide, you saw how quickly it scaled. I think that has to do with the fact that we really made it turnkey. This is an opt-in program, and it's in addition to these people's day jobs. So we needed to make it simple and clear. We have a whole package of training materials, a framework for delivering it, literally, messaging before and after the training, all of the artifacts that they can send out to people. And, we just made it really cut and dried and have easy to attend many times a week, train the trainer sessions. And what we've done is created this way of getting out the next content. They know the system now. The other thing is awareness. Make them visible. We did this in a multitude of ways, but one of the core ways was this champions badge that went on their profile and populated across everything we do internally at Microsoft. So initially, nobody knew what it meant, but it did start the conversation, because they'd be like, hey, where'd you get that? Or, what is that all about? And they could start the team's conversation. Next up, operationalizing it. So making it real. The first part, and I think this was core in making it real, was my slogan, a little swag goes a long way. I think we all know that, so you can see that at this conference. So we made window clings and stickers, and then we actually did print out a welcome letter with the resources and the plan and what it meant and where to go for help, and then we onboarded them to their own team's team. And we've got a lot of feedback about how that really made it real, and they felt like it was something that was going to be lasting. Then we landed everything on our intranet. So we have one space on our intranet for all things teams internally. If you have questions, you need help, the facts, etc., we pop the champions right on there. Click this button if you need help. And it shows you a list of champions in your organization, and also where they're at globally. And so you can reach out to somebody who's familiar with your space or is local to you. Also, we have a lot of the champions gets, and that includes today a leaderboard and some prizing. But the important thing here is that the champions, we're a year and a half down the road or more, and we are now just doing the leaderboard, but it's been so hugely successful. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, we recruited well, that very first tidbit I told you. But two, the champions themselves help one another. They come up with these incredible things in their own organizations. I brought up the fact that Brazil did this whole meme contest, and it was hilarious. We have champions that are creating flows and business processes in their teams. One champion made all their procurement flows in their team. So we bring the champions back on a monthly basis, and they show each other what they're doing, and then they help each other, do that in their org. Also, just online on a daily basis. You can see here, well, you can't really because it's too tiny. Apologies for that. But this graph shows that there are hundreds of users daily inside the champions team. This is one of the most active teams on our tenant. And it's champions helping champions. Up here in the background, what I've got is somebody asked, hey, where do I find read receipts again? Within a minute, another champion said, here's a screenshot. That's where they are at. This goes on all day long. And the champions even know who the experts in different areas are. And so you'll see, great question, @mentioned so-and-so. Do you know this? And I mean, they've just built this incredible community of help with one another. Again, you have some quotes on the success of the program and that whole thing about making it real. So, for now, where are we going tomorrow? We've made that migration. We've made that transition. Really, we know that the elements of healthy teamwork through our research, through industry research, come down to communication, sharing, and collaboration. Having trust, being able to have my voice heard, being able to weigh in, and this great environment that Teams provides for that, because it's all of those things in context with the content that we're working on or the meeting we just had. So what we're focusing on more this year is how do we make that happen healthfully in channel? Because you need to be in a team and a channel, and you can bring all those elements together. You can see already, even at the beginning of this, in areas where there are champions, channel usage is higher than anywhere else. So it's been a really strong, really fundamental, team for us. They're a change management like phenom. I'm so proud of them and grateful for them. And I'm super excited to introduce my co-host here, Caruana Gatimu. And so I'm going to just go ahead and flip it over her way.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's a fantastic example of a really vibrant champions program. And clearly all of you are interested in this. Look at this theater. I am shocked and surprised and super happy that there are so many people here. I want to make a couple announcements. So I am Caruana Gatimu. I'm the Worldwide Office 365 Champions Lead. And if you would like to start a program like this, you can join our worldwide community. And that worldwide community provides materials for champion programs all around the world that will allow you to take our stuff and accelerate the work that you're trying to do. We think it's really important to help people get this information out there, because whether you're driving adoption of Microsoft Teams or SharePoint or OneDrive, you need to have people in your own organization who can help other employees. That is the secret sauce. I can come to your organization and do a training or what have you, but people are always going to learn more from people that they know and trust. We have the data that backs that up and shows it, as Sarah has shared with you. And so my job is to scale and enable all of you around the world to get this done. So we have a lot of sessions that are going on the topic of adoption at Champions programs and other tools. This morning we announced the general availability of our Microsoft 365 Learning Pathways free training portal that you can all install. And we want you to find your community. So this is where you would join our worldwide community, and it will get you access to all of the materials that I mentioned, AK.MS O365 Champions. Down there, number 3, use our resources, AK.MS Microsoft Adoption. You'll find the link to the Champions program. You'll find the link to our training portal that you can install in your own SharePoint instance. And then you'll have these capabilities that will let you empower your employees, because that's what this is all about. I want all of you to remember that driving adoption and having a champions program, most champions are not motivated by the technology itself. Those are early adopters. We are motivated by helping others, and that is the point. The point is improving the employee experience, driving productivity in whatever way you define, and making sure that people aren't just seeing technology just for the bright, shiny object that it can be, right? If we're not actually helping you to have better achievement of your business objectives, then we've somehow missed the mark. So this is the goal of Microsoft Teams and our Better Together initiatives and all of the resources that we're publishing through this worldwide program. If you go to the program, you'll also find us on the Driving Adoption community, and you can go back and see all of the content and the presentations and recordings that we've done over the last year and change about Microsoft Teams, about Outlook Mobile, and many of the other products that are in the Office 365 suite. So there's a lot of capabilities that the champions drive, and that's why I love what Sarah's team did when they launched champions inside of Microsoft. They called them teamwork champions. They did not attach the champion identity to an individual product. And that's something I think you should all think about. What will work in your organization from a cultural standpoint for branding and naming those folks? Because their role should transcend the current rollout that you're doing of Teams or any other product, all right? Because that's what they're really focused on, is teamwork or productivity or one of those other tools. We have a tremendous amount of other sessions that are happening at Ignite. This you can find obviously in your app, but these are the ones that are about Teams. And the reason we're focused on Teams, I know people are saying, hey, you're talking a lot about Teams at Microsoft. You have other things to talk about. Well, we do, but we also believe that Microsoft Teams can truly be your hub for teamwork. So bringing in SharePoint, bringing in file collaboration, having modern meetings, driving a more inclusive workplace so people feel like they can get more work done is the point of that product. So everything you're already doing, including line of business applications, are what you can do. And those champions have a clear role in the process of launch planning. So make sure you're talking to them early. At the same time you're recruiting early adopters is when you should be talking to those champions. The champions and your help desk should know about what you're doing before it happens for the general employee. So try not to wait too late in the process to build that champions community. And even if you haven't, you can start when you go back, right? You can get our kits, and we're having a great time announcing the different kinds of tools that we're going to be releasing over the next several months. The Champions Badge that Sarah showed will come out next quarter. We have the leaderboard that you'll be able to install in your environment. Many of these tools that you're seeing, we're turning into things that you can use and scale for your own program. So really excited about all of that, and making sure that you have accessible this checklist of information about how you should set up your own plan. So again, in next month's meeting online, we will discuss this in depth. So I hope you join the program and join us. We record each of those meetings, so even if you can't join us at the 8 a.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific time that we hold our community calls, you can get the recording and the presentation in the community, and then get all this guidance about how to set up your community yourself. The other thing I want to announce is that here at Ignite, we're kicking off what we call Office 365 Champion Mixers. And these are in-person meetings of champions that folks have asked for. We'll have one here on Wednesday in the Community Central area, Wednesday from 1 to 2. And that gives you an opportunity to meet other champions. Because Sarah talked about it in the virtual team, but it's so true. What I find in our community is people learning from each other is most effective. You can ask another person who's driving adoption or who's a champion how they solved something. And in many cases, that's more meaningful than what someone like myself from Microsoft will say. And so learning from each other, building community, that's what we're going to kick off at this mixer on Wednesday from 1 to 2. And we'll be doing them around the world following the Microsoft Ignite tour, so in other cities as well, and then giving people an opportunity to kick off their own groups. So I'm really excited to do that community management and bring people together, because that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to come together to solve problems and to have a little fun along the way. So join us for that mix-up and pick up your copy of our Getting Started with Microsoft Teams book, which we have published, which you can also find in the Ignite store. And you have to get the sticker. I mean, y'all came to this. Look at all. You have to get the champion sticker. So join us for that. That's where that will be. And Sarah and I have several other sessions. You can find us here throughout the floor or out in that community. Feel free to ask us whatever questions you may have about setting up a community in your organization. I'm going to switch it back real quick to this slide, because if you didn't take your phone out and take a picture, this is the one to take the picture of. Hopefully you did. And please make sure to file your evaluation of our session as well. These theater sessions, you know, when so many of you attend, that helps us get an actual room next time, which I think we might need. And so thank you so much for all your attention. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.